It was a female, severely burned. I estimated over 60% burns to her body. I said, I'll take her, because she was the critical patient. Turned out to be the best decision of my entire life. There was this tremendous rush of air, followed by this debris. I was thrown to the ground and shot across the floor about 100 feet with my victim, and that was the building collapsing. She had grabbed me by the shirt, had a death grip on me, wouldn't, please, please don't leave me. And I flat out lied to her. I said, sweetheart, don't worry, I promise we're getting out of here. If I didn't have her, I probably would have curled up in a fetal position and just waited to die. She saved me.
I think it's very important to live a clean, good life, healthy life, because you're never alone. You're always going to touch someone's heart, and to me, unless I fight for this life, to be very, it would be very selfish to leave in a negative way. I want to leave helping people, just like that day. You didn't think about dying or even being sick. Just do the job. Stay focused.
I have an extended family that I never thought I would have. It's a club that you really don't want to belong to, but it's just amazing to have that extra support. When you're that low and you feel like you can't go on, or you're sitting there saying, I don't want to live anymore because this is just too hard, you'll get that phone call, or you'll reach out to someone that is either a family member or a rescue worker, a survivor, or someone that, you made a connection that day, and you're not alone. You're not by yourself, and that makes a difference.
The families that were created because of it, the boundaries that were knocked down. I'd never seen this city so nice to each other, and there were people coming from all over the country, just trying to help out whatever way they could. It was great to see something like that, and it kind of restores your hope and belief in humanity.
That very first day I was telling you that we went down there for 20-something hours. When we came back, the bus stopped in front of the precinct across the street, and the minute 2 or 3 guys get out of the bus and they were covered in dust, the cars on a big boulevard stopped going both ways. People got out of their cars and started applauding. It was amazing.
I could be in a room full of people, and a lot of times I'll feel detached and disconnected to everything going on around me. But if I was camping or hiking, that was my happy, that is my happy place. I feel totally safe in the woods. I'm very comfortable with my skills. I'm fine around bears. They don't bother me. I could have a miserable day at work and say, you know what, I'm gonna go to the park, go for a quick walk. See, it doesn't have to be like a big, beautiful deer. If I see a rabbit or a chipmunk, I come home, I'm happy. I feel like it's just a totally decompressing for me.
I just think it was time. It was time for me to have that closure. You can run and you can hide, but eventually you have to stop and face it and say, okay, it's time to put some sort of closure to this, because otherwise, if you don't deal with it and you don't confront it, it's always going to haunt you. At least this way, I can deal with it now, and I can deal with it on my own terms. It doesn't control me, I control it now.
I just thought, you know what, I'm going to go get some brushes and some canvases, and I'm going to get involved again. It's going to be my little hobby. There's stresses in ministering, and there's always something going on. There's always somebody dying or in the hospital. And I said, this is where I think I'm going to find my happy place. But I didn't realize that it was a real therapeutic exercise for 9/11. And so that's when I really picked up my brushes again and sketchbooks, and I don't go anywhere without a sketchbook. So it's been a big help for my psyche and my well-being.
One of the charity events that sticks out to me, and one of my favorite, is the Stony Brook Children's Hospital. I think it was right after COVID or something like that. And we couldn't really go in to the area where the kids were. So they had Superman. They had a man dressed up as Superman. And he went on the cherry picker and they raised it, and he would knock on the children's windows from outside and wave at them and talk to them through the windows. And it's amazing. And there's so many people who, the world sucks sometimes when you look at it and you're like, how did we get here? But there's so many good people, and I believe that there's way more of us than there is of the not so good people. And when you see it, it's inspiring.
The dogs, they were like the ones getting hurt down there and stuff like that. They were the little unsung heroes, right? The dogs were getting depressed because they weren't finding survivors. So I was down there with a guy from the 113, and they asked for volunteers to hide in the rubble. They pulled everybody off the rubble, and they hid a bunch of us up there, and they told us to lay down like we're hurt, and they sent all the dogs in. And the dogs started barking, and life came, and everybody was clapping, and life came back to the place, and we pretended that they found us, and it was incredible, though. That was something that was unbelievably moving, really was.
I tried equine therapy. They asked me, what is your goal from this program? And I said to them, I just want to be able to sleep through the night. And that worked. So now I volunteer there, Nice. So I get to help during therapy sessions with children who are either nonverbal or some sort of other physical disability. And so I participate during their sessions. I'm a side walker, so basically I'm on the right side of the horse, just to make sure that the client doesn't fall.
I think I lost my faith in God, but I think it came back to me on the pile, believe it or not. I had a Catholic priest come to my truck and a young lady from a Christian church out here on Long Island. They came to me and they asked me, Detective, would you mind if we went downstairs to this parking garage? We need to see something down there. I walked down there with him and this lady, and as I turned the corner, I saw this beautiful ray of sunshine coming. Coming through this wall, I walked towards it, and I made a left, and look at this hole in the wall. And it was like being hit. I couldn't understand it. I fell to my knees and I started crying like I'm doing now. And as I looked through the wall, I saw 3 crosses had impaled themselves in the ground in perfect unison. And they had clothes draped on them and paper draped on them like arms. And I said to myself, this has got to be God's work, because, losing faith in him, I said, they didn't die in vain. Then I thought of the Holy Trinity, the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. So I think, that changed my life. I mean, I was very cynical. I became very cynical. But I think my faith in God really came back to me that day. And I always reflect to that.
Today I woke up, I woke up on my knees. I say, and I said my prayers. I say, how can I be a better husband? How can I be a better participant in life? How can I be a better father? It's basic stuff. And then you have to take action on it. You could pray for it, you have to do it. But do it. That's what I was taught.
That whole situation my boss creating groups and team leads made me a team lead, made me realize I want more. I want to give my family more. You know, I wanted to improve myself as a man, as a person, and went back to school, continued all the way, completed my MBA, got promoted again. I think it gave me a drive, where before that, I was pretty complacent. That whole thing and realizing that things can change like that, it gave me a drive.
I think what 9/11 had to do was break me down so that I can build myself back up to be the person that I wanted to be, the person that I know I'm capable of being. So yeah, it's changed me on a lot of levels. It broke me down, it's built me up, it's made me stronger. It's made me realize that I am in control. Not a situation or a place or an event, but I am in control. I need to own up my own actions, and I need to be the person that I want to be.